Welcome to the Epcotian Adventure,
a podcast where we'll talk about all things Disney,
including tips and tricks, festivals and favorites, and the very latest in news and reviews.
But we're still old enough to remember when it was always Diet Epcot.
This is episode 34, Exploring Epcot's Festivals.
Or farts, flowers, food, or Festivus. You choose.
So now please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the podcast as we embark on our Epcotian adventure. Howdy, folks, and welcome to the Epcotian Adventure. I'm Rod.
And I'm Sue.
And this is episode 34. This is going to be an episode dedicated to Epcot's festivals.
It is, as you know, we love Epcot's festivals.
Yeah, we even said in one of our last episodes, you have to go out of your way to avoid Epcot festivals. Believe it or not, that was not always the case.
It is true. Sometimes there was no festival at all. And then they just started springing up.
They started actually being almost every day of the year now, and we hate missing any of these.
We do. We try to get there as often as we can to catch all the festivals. It never happened. Well, it did happen one year.
It happened one year with our annual passes. This
Yep.
year, coming from Missouri, it's a little harder to get to all the festivals, but we will be going to Food and Wine.
We will.
It will be towards later on when you hear the best of the fest, so it will be a more of, this was the best of the fest by the time that episode airs. But we will be getting to the Food and Wine Festival this year, and hopefully to more festivals in 24.
Yes, that is the goal. Now, you've heard us talk about these before, of course. We mention them quite often because they are such an integral part of Epcot. However, this is going to be us breaking them down one by one for you, so that if you are planning a trip to Epcot and the festivals are important to you as well, maybe this will help you decide which one you want to focus on.
The festivals are almost quarterly. There's actually one that starts in January and will run through the first part of the year, and then from March through summer, and then all of summer through almost Christmas, and then Christmas.
Well, why don't we just tell them what those are?
Let's do that. I guess I don't need to be vague. Let's be very specific.
There we go.
What is the very first one that happens every year, sis?
So at the beginning of the year, around mid-January, they start with Festival of the Arts.
Or farts.
Or farts.
We didn't name it that, folks.
We didn't. I'm actually kind of surprised by that. But
I am too.
So the Festival of the Arts runs mid-January to late February, right around 5 weeks. It is a very short festival. Definitely worth catching, though. That's going to be the first one we talk about. After that, we move into Flower and Garden, which is the longest festival.
Which is weird, because when we started researching this, I could have sworn Food and Wine Festival was longest.
Yeah.
But we started counting the weeks. Flower and Garden is the longest one.
That surprised us so much. We actually went back and counted the weeks twice to make sure we didn't get it wrong. But yeah, Flower and Garden goes from early March to the July 4th weekend. And that makes it around 18 weeks.
Which is good, because with the plants and the flowers, It's nice to actually have it. It's one of the most beautiful times at Epcot.
It is so gorgeous. If you're planning a first-time trip, that's actually when I would recommend going.
Well, and it's spring, so the temperatures are actually better than trying to go during the summer months.
Also true. And speaking of the summer months, late July to mid-November, and that is Food and Wine Festival.
Mm-hmm. Food and Wine goes right up to Thanksgiving.
Yes, absolutely. And that runs around 16 to 17 weeks. And then the year ends at the Festival of the Holidays, late November through the end of December, which again is about 5 weeks.
Yeah. So, sis, what are the common things to all of these festivals?
Yeah, so before we break them down, there are some things that you should know just in general about going to an Epcot festival. And one of those is that the festival is included in your Epcot admission. It is not a separate ticket.
Yeah, so that's different from like the parties that we talked about in a previous episode for Halloween and Christmas. This is just part of everyday Epcot.
So each one is going to have international food from around the world. They are featuring somewhere between around 15 to around 25 different food kiosks. They call them outdoor kitchens, because they actually do the cooking right there in these little kiosks.
Yeah, when they first started with those, they were nothing more than just tents almost. And they're actually permanent locations now around World Showcase.
Each one will also feature exclusive merchandise, sometimes several layers of exclusive merchandise.
Yeah, they actually will release them in waves sometimes, month after month after month.
Yeah.
Which is just dangerous.
It's mean. It's mean is what it is. Each one also has live entertainment that we'll talk about as we go through each of the festivals at the American Gardens Theater and the American Adventure Pavilion.
And shortly at the new theater being built near Communicore. That'll be starting in late 23, yes.
Each one also features a scavenger hunt with a prize. This is a paid adventure, so you have to pay. It's usually around $10, and then you get to take home a little prize.
You can usually get those at Creations, International Gateway, and at the store right there at the entrance of World Showcase.
So there's several locations to pick those up, and each one also has a crawl of some kind, which we will go through in detail for you as we go through each festival.
Just to make a distinction, that doesn't mean you have to drink so much that you're crawling around the... Yeah,
that's actually discouraged a little bit.
That is actually discouraged. we do not encourage that kind of crawl.
But for the crawl, you will need to pick up a passport for that festival. Those are free. The items, of course, are not free. They're from the food booths.
And those passports are available at the main entrance, International Gateway, and actually all of the food kiosks will have them right there.
Good point. So if you are halfway through and decide to start the crawl, you can do that from whichever booth you're at. And each one will have dining packages available for whatever the live entertainment is. So keep that in mind as we go through as well, and we'll talk about what that is. So starting off with Festival of the Arts.
So the International Festival of the Arts is actually the newest of the festivals. It's actually only been going for a couple of years. Actually, that started in
2017.
Yeah, just a few years before the closure, actually. So it hasn't had as much attendance as the other ones. It's not as well known, but it is actually one of our favorites. It's short, but it has culinary arts, visual arts, even performing arts,
yeah.
Well, performing arts, yeah. Their entire concert series is actually based on Broadway.
Oh, it's so cool. That one is called the Broadway Concert Series. It features stars that have been on Broadway in the Disney shows, so in Lion King or in Aladdin
Mary
or
Poppins,
in Aida. So performers who have actually been on Broadway, and they come and they do the songs that they're known for, and a lot of times they'll collaborate with each other. And they're collaborations you never knew you needed until you're hearing them. And it's really, really stunning what these performers are capable of.
Well, and they get out of New York in the wintertime, so it's not hard to get some of them from New York down to Orlando.
That's a pretty good point. I hadn't thought of that. They also, for Festival of the Arts, they usually have around 16 of those outdoor kitchens. Some of the most popular ones are Pop Eats. This always features the grilled cheese and tomato soup.
Oh my gosh, that is so yummy.
It is so good. And the tomato soup is served in a little can, like Andy Warhol's famous painting of the tomato soup can. There's also the deconstructed dish is a very popular food booth. It's just visually stunning what they do. Last year they did a deconstructed French onion soup, which you wouldn't even think would be a thing, but they managed to make it work. The key lime pie.
The key lime pie was amazing. And literally all the food is just so pretty. Yeah, if you're familiar with Japanese culture, you know that their big thing is visually stunning displays of food. They've taken that to a new level at all of the kiosks at the Festival of the Arts.
It's really stunning what they're able to accomplish. They have a cake that when you cut it apart, your slice of cake looks like a Mondrian print. I mean, it is absolutely gorgeous. So anyway, all of that to say, it is stunning food, and it's really super yummy.
One of my favorite things is they'll have a wall. Well, they have lots of walls there right now, and because of that, but when all the walls come down, they probably will still have this from what I understand. They have a wall where you can actually paint a little square of a mural.
It's really cool. All you do is you go up to the little booth, they hand you a color and a brush. It's like a giant paint by number. So you paint 5 tiny little squares in the color that they've given you that are numbered for your color. And then as you leave, they give you like a little, it's sort of like a bookmark, and it has the big picture. So you don't even know what you're painting until you see the bookmark at the end. They also do the wonderful walk of colorful cuisine. This is the crawl for this festival. So in your passport, it's going to show you what each of the food booths has to offer. Some of them are going to be marked as part of this wonderful walk of colorful cuisine. And if you collect 5 of them, you get special stamps, and then at the end you turn it in for a prize. And last year it was the palette cookie. So it's a cookie that's shaped like an artist's palette with the little colors of paint on there. It's very, very cute. And it's just a fun thing. So something to note on all of these crawls. You always have to collect 5, but it does not have to be 5 different things. So if you particularly like one thing, you can get 3 of them, and it counts for 3 of your 5 stamps.
We talk about the cookie crawl. There's one cookie that I adore, and just getting 5 of that one cookie is okay with me.
We could do that during the cheese crawl.
Oh, and the cheese crawl, yeah. we'll talk more about those in a minute, yeah.
So the scavenger hunt for this particular festival is going to be featuring Figment, who's one of our favorites. And, of course, he's known for imagination. So
yeah, he's kind of the mascot, really, for the whole festival.
He really is. He's everywhere during this one, and I love that. So he is sort of what you're looking for. He's hidden in paintings, and he's hidden in sculptures. So you have to find him all throughout the park. You pick up your map. It has the little stickers on the back when you find him in the hidden areas. Then you put that sticker on that spot on the map. When it's done, you turn it in for a prize. And last year, it was a little vinyl figurine that came with some little paints, and you could paint your own figure. It is a super fun activity, and like we said, each of the festivals has their own version of this, so we'll tell you what those are as well. Another thing that this festival is known for is the chalk art. They bring in artists, and they create art on the sidewalks.
Yeah, 3D art is the most common thing you're going to see. And when you're walking up, you would swear there is depth and dimension. And when you see these chalk artists doing these amazing artistic displays on the sidewalk.
It really is incredible. And to think that they aren't permanent, that they are going to be washed away. They're going to go away. One
rainstorm and they're gone. And we actually have seen that happen. We were there one time when they were doing some work. And we rode Spaceship Earth, and that means it's going to rain.
Yeah.
Some weird reason that does. And we came out, and the artists were waiting for it to dry so they could start over.
Yeah.
Talk about putting on your patient pants.
No kidding. But yeah, it really is incredible what these people can accomplish. And they're mostly Disney themed. Sometimes it's just pretty art, but yeah, they are absolutely amazing. They also have art booths set up all over World Showcase where you can actually buy art. Again, probably 99.9% of it is Disney themed, but it's in all different styles. These artists bring their own flair to the characters and to the rides and to whatever it is that they are focusing on.
Yeah, if you go online and just look for Disney art, you're going to see a lot of these artists' pictures and portraits and things that they've created. And being able to go and see them and talk to them about why they decided to paint Mickey in a Haunted Mansion outfit with the ghoulish figures around him, which is one we saw last year when we were there. It's absolutely stunning artistically, but it's also amazing to be able to actually talk to the artist that created it.
And they have all levels of this. So they'll have a portrait that you can buy. One of them that we found that we almost came home with was a version of Mickey that was done in a steampunk style.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. And the artist, again, was right there.
Yes. And that was probably, I think that painting ran around $750.
Yeah, it was not inexpensive. You'll see a lot of the actual originals on sale, but most of the originals also will have lithographs.
Exactly.
And postcards.
And even postcards. Yes, that's exactly where I was headed. Well
so, yeah,
done.
Thank you. But I mean, the artists learn from Disney, so they know how to market their products.
Yeah, and it's so cool to go through and find a piece that you just connect with, and to be able to take home a smaller version of that is really cool because, like, for us, that steampunk Mickey was so amazing, and there were like 3D pieces on the painting, the little gears and the winding. It was so neat, but there's no way that we're spending, $1,000.
Beyond that, too, there's also photography from the parks and from other Disney-related elements around the world, basically. And also even things like physical maquettes that you can find that people have done and have those for sale. And that's one reason it's one of my favorite festivals at Epcot is because of the actual physical art that you can find.
It's also super fun in that they have photo ops set up all throughout the park so that they have a famous painting but you insert yourself into it. So, like, they'll do the Mona Lisa background, but then you put yourself in there. Or they'll do the birth of Venus, but you put yourself in there instead of the Venus character. Or there's a ton of them, but they're so much fun. I did one for Edvard Munch's The Scream, which was super fun. And they have the actual photo behind the front so that when you go back to take your spot in the painting, you can see what you're going for, like what the actual painting is. But they also do an animation academy during this. Like they have year-round over at Animal Kingdom. Yeah.
Rafiki's Planet Watch has that. Or at the Art of Animation at Disney California Adventure. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I'd forgotten about that. Where you can actually, they have a Disney artist come over and teach you how to draw a Disney character. It's very cool.
That happens during the day over at the American Gardens Theater in the American Adventure Pavilion. Also some physical arts. They'll have physical feats of strength, I guess is a good way to put it, from things that are similar to like Cirque du Soleil. And
yeah, where they are actually creating art like with their bodies.
Yeah, it's pretty stunning, actually.
This one was called Art Defying Gravity.
That's
the one
what
they had
it was.
last year.
Yes.
So moving on to the next festival of the year. So now we're at Flower and Garden.
Flower and Garden is the most beautiful of the festivals. The topiaries that appear during this festival are actually worked on year-round by the Disney landscaping team. And some of them literally will grow for 2 or 3 years before they actually make an appearance at this festival.
Yeah, they are everywhere, and each country will have one that's dedicated to a character that's from that country, or there's always one of Figment outside of Imagination, and there's the big one at the front of the park. This year it was Encanto. They had...
Oh, yeah, Maribel.
And Luisa, and it was gorgeous. So those are everywhere. I'll post a couple pictures. You've seen some before because we did a Best of the Fest for Flower and Garden.
During the Garden Festival, too, they have a few more of the food booths out.
They do. I should say Festival of the Gardens was the first festival.
That's right.
It started in 1994.
Wow. Is it really that old? I remember when those started back then.
I would have sworn that Food and Wine was the first festival.
I think we've even said that Food and Wine was the first at one point.
I think we have. I was certain it was.
Yeah, researching this, we found out that Garden actually came first.
That one started in 1994. They usually have around 15 food booths. It feels like more, but we actually counted.
During this festival, a lot of the food is plant-based.
Yes, and that is actually the crawl for this one. They call it the Garden Graze. And there's plant-based food at several of the booths. But if you collect 5 of the ones that they are looking for, then you get a special prize. And the prize on this one is usually a Dole Whip in a unique flavor and in a little souvenir cup.
And believe it or not, Dole Whip actually is dairy-free.
It is. That is true.
Most people don't realize that. Most people think it is a milk-based product, and it's not. Dole Whip is dairy-free.
The main figure in this one, we talked about Figment sort of being the icon of the Festival of the Arts. This one features the Orange Bird and Spike the Bee.
Spike the Bee is cute. He's got his own, not only merchandise, he has his own food booth.
He does. He does the Honey Bistro.
All of the food offerings there are somehow based in honey. They've got honey on top. There's honey as an ingredient.
They also feature Spike the Bee in the scavenger hunt, which is called Spike's Pollination Exploration.
They're good at rhyming.
They are. They're punny. So, and this one, it's very similar to the Figment one. You go around, you find these cute little statues of Spike the Bee. You put the sticker in the spot where it goes, and you get a prize at the end. Last year, it was a little cup or a plate. And again, that runs just about $10, and you can pick up your prize when you pick up your map if you don't want to complete it all and then go back. So
what's the crawl during this one? I don't actually remember.
The crawl is the Garden Graze.
That's right. Oh, you just said that. Of course, the Garden Graze.
Did, but I didn't really talk about it. It is all plant-based. Last year, some of our favorites were off the Garden Graze. The avocado toast is amazing.
Mm-hmm, I remember that.
It has little fresh flowers all over it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, edible flowers. I guess I'm just old-fashioned when it comes to meat and potatoes, but I didn't know flowers were that edible.
There are so many edible flowers.
That's one of the nice things about these festivals, too, is you can really step out of your comfort zone, especially at this festival because of all the plant-based foods. I'm a carnivore. I'm basically just going to say that. And it's a great place to actually try some of these things that you wouldn't normally be able to try.
It's a really good point, because being that it's plant-based doesn't mean it's based on Impossible or based on meatless products made to taste like meat.
Right.
Which I don't really get the point of, but I'm not a vegan, so I don't get it. But there are delicious products that they do, recipes that just don't involve things from animals.
They did a watermelon salad one time.
Yes, at this
festival. That was watermelon,
arugula, and blueberries.
And balsamic.
It did have goat cheese. It was not plant-based.
That's right, but it was still within that same vein.
Yeah. And it was amazing. It would still count as vegetarian. It's just not vegan.
Right, and again, that's something outside of my comfort zone, but it's not anymore. It was so stinking good.
So yeah, great chance to try something that you wouldn't normally try. Their live entertainment for this one, the concert series, is Garden Rock, and it features all kinds of people that your parents listen to. So
a lot of 70s, 80s, and 90s bands will appear at the American Gardens Theater there, again, at American Adventure.
And some that have appeared in the past who tend to make repeat performances. Starship is usually there, Berlin, Pointer Sisters, Wang Chung, the Commodores, Smash Mouth was there last year.
I love that.
If you want reserved seats, you can do a dining package. You don't have to. You can just listen as you walk by because it's an outdoor theater. So it depends on what level of fandom you have for these people.
Well, and if it's some of the bigger ones like Pointer Sisters, they're going to get a crowd, and they're going to get people waiting in line for the shows up to 2 hours in advance. So
for sure.
Some of the more well-known artists, you may still need to actually get there and get in line ahead of time.
Yes, for sure. If it's someone that you want to see, make them a priority. And they do release the calendar well in advance for which days these people are playing. So take a look, plan your vacation accordingly, and go enjoy an outdoor concert.
Yeah. So Spike the Bees area is kind of over between the Imagination Pavilion and World Showcase along that pathway. And they set up an actual attraction there. It's a butterfly house. This is more, I'm going to just say it's more for the kids. Because generally if something small and flies and lands on me, I'm going to squish it with my hand. So I tend to stay away from this one. But if you've got kids, or if you're just a kid at heart and don't mind butterflies landing on you, or if you want to feed them, they have the little nectar cups that you can actually feed them with. It's a great little walkthrough that they set up.
And if you have littles, it's a great opportunity to get some super cute photos too.
Also, very true, very true.
And that is included in admission. There's not a fee for that. You just walk through the house at your leisure. They also have specialty gardens set up. My personal favorites are both in the UK pavilion. They have an English tea garden where they will show you the kinds of flowers that are common for brewing tea, like chamomile and lavender and those sorts of things that you will often find in tea.
Didn't they even have that guy there, that Earl Grey guy? He was standing
I love him.
There. Yeah. No, that wasn't a thing?
That wasn't him.
Oh, okay.
That was the Monopoly guy.
Right, yeah.
But the other garden is the Shakespeare Garden. And this one is my absolute favorite, and I will post a picture of this. But they have just a tiny little garden outside the restrooms there. Don't know why that's where it is. But they have flowers set up, and then they have quotes from Shakespeare that coordinate to those particular flowers. And I absolutely love it. I'm a bit of a Shakespeare geek. I will admit that. So this is my favorite. So it's very, very cool. And then they also have like a tropical rainforest garden set up over in Mexico. They have the Honey Bistro garden set up over by the Honey Bistro booth. There's all kinds of ones that are all throughout. If you have a special interest in any kind of flower, you'll probably find some information about it. It's very cool.
So when that ends over July 4th weekend, there's usually about a 3-week period when it's Diet Epcot. This is the largest period of time when there's just sun and rides and no food booths.
And more sun.
And more sun.
And sometimes monsoons.
Yo, heavens, yes. That's the time of year when I decided actually to leave working at Magic Kingdom because of the heat and the rain and the humidity. So we
don't recommend July
no,
in general.
We don't. No. Unless... No, there's no good reason. I can't think of a thing there. However, Food and Wine Festival does start about the last week or third week of July every year. And that's going to run through August, September, October, right up almost to Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And we thought that was the longest, but no, it's not. It's real close to it, and it seems to get longer every year.
It
so
does.
It wouldn't surprise me if it starts getting closer and closer to July 4th as the years go on.
I believe it started at about 6 weeks.
I think you're right, yeah.
And it just has grown and grown and grown.
It's actually split into two when it comes to the culinary side of it. The food booths will actually open up and have specific menus for the summer period. And then as it gets closer to fall and harvest, they will change a lot of the menus to represent things for the fall time.
But they also have 25 booths. This is the most outdoor kitchens that they have. And some of them don't open. They open in stages.
Yeah, as part of that. That's very true. Weird.
Yeah. So some of them will open during the end of July. And then you'll have some that won't open until mid-August. And then a couple that don't even open until September. So it kind of varies. If you want to catch them all, you want to go toward the end of the festival. Food and Wine Festival started in 1995, which is just a year after the Flower and Garden.
Yeah.
Again, I would have sworn it was the first one, but we were proven wrong. So there we go. So again, those food booths are going to be from all around the world. They have ones of each of the pavilions that are already represented in Epcot, but then they also add Brazil and Hawaii and Spain, all kinds of different ones. And then they have specialty booths that get added on as well. Brewing, the features.
Oh, at the Odyssey, yes.
So brew wing, so they have beer and wings.
Craft beers and wings.
And
in the air conditioning.
With seating.
With seating. It doesn't get any better than that during a festival at Epcot. I'm going to have to say no.
And this year they have a pickle milkshake.
Yeah, we're going to skip that one.
Are we, though?
I want to try the peanut butter and jelly wings, though.
They also have an orange cardamom wing that I'm dying to try, so we'll see.
The chai tea of wings. Yay.
That's like saying TT.
TT.
We learned that from Spider-Man, thank you. Specialty booths again this year also feature Bubbles and Brine, which is champagne and seafood. Char and Chop, Simmering Sips, the Fry Basket, Noodle Exchange. All of these get added in as the year progresses and have some really fun offerings. And
always check over by the entrance of Test Track.
Mm-hmm.
There's a snack booth that during the off season is just Coke products and things like that, but during Diet Epcot. But it changes from donuts in one festival to...
It was Brunchcot.
Brunchcot, yeah, that was the one.
And now it's Fry Basket.
Yeah, and this year their fries look absolutely amazing.
They have a fry flight you can try that's 3 different kinds. They also have yucca fries, or yucca, depending on how you say that, right. That are plant-based. And then they have pickle fries.
Pickle fries is the big one. And salt and vinegar fries as well, which
and a potato. Sweet potato.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They did have a sweet potato one this year. That's too. So, yeah, those flights are a good way to try the different ones. Kind of like the drink flights, but in a deep-fried format.
And shareable. And then the crawl for this one is my personal favorite crawl because it's cheese-based.
Hey, how about a side of potatoes, my buddy?
You got it. You want cheese on those potatoes?
Thank you, Kronk. Cheddar will be fine.
Cheddar spuds coming up.
Spuds, yes. Cheese, no.
Hold the cheese.
No, I want the cheese.
Cheese it is.
Cheese me no likey.
Cheese out.
Cheese in.
Oh, come on. Make up your mind.
Okay. On second thought, make my potatoes a salad.
So it is Remy's Fromage Montage.
I love that. So Remy is the mascot for Food and Wine Festival.
He is, as well he should be.
I think so. He's earned it.
So he's the little mouse from Ratatouille, in case you are unfamiliar.
In case you're not a Disney person.
So when you eat the cheese-based products, then you collect your prize, and you get a strawberry cheesecake soft serve that has a tiny little piece of cheesecake on top. And it's in a souvenir cup.
And it's yummy.
It is. It was the same prize last year, and it was delicious. So that is always a winner. Plus, you get to eat 5 kinds of cheese. So again,
yeah, I don't see a downside.
It really isn't. So you don't have to do 5 different ones. If you just want to go to Canada and get 5 servings of the bacon cheddar soup with the pretzel roll, you can do that.
And Canada has a filet mignon from Le Cellier.
Yes, they do.
Oh my gosh. It's like a 2-ounce cut of that just amazing filet that they have down there for like $12.
Yeah, plus it comes with a side of veggies. I think it's green beans, and they have the Boursin mashed potatoes that go with it.
You can
It's
actually,
a full meal.
Yeah, you order like 3 of those, you've got a whole filet that would cost you $65 at the restaurant.
It's a good point.
It's like having a coupon.
But even just the single serving of that is very shareable because it is a heavier dish, and it is really good.
One of the other kind of, I don't say weird, because our Canadian friends probably are listening. They have all kinds of poutine over at the refreshment port, if I'm getting it right. Not the refreshment outpost, the refreshment port at the...
Right as you turn into World Showcase. So,
the Canada side. So where the Chicky Nuggies used to be from McDonald's, basically, if you remember way back when. And if you are interested in trying poutine, if you've never visited Canada or had french fries with gravy, they do some really interesting ones there.
They do, and they do a different one for each festival, too. So
yeah, it's a great place to try something from our neighbors up north, eh?
Word had it that they were also going to have beaver tails this year, but I think those ended up getting nixed off the menu, and I'm super sad about that.
Yeah, which is a shame. Those are a large dough-based, deep-fried extravaganza of flavor.
Like a little pastry.
Yeah.
Except not little.
Basically take a beignet and smash it and then roll it in cinnamon and sugar. So
Delicious. Another really popular item from this festival is from the Hawaii booth, and that is the Kahlua pork slider.
Yes, please.
It is on a Hawaiian roll. It is perfectly flavored pork, like shredded pork. That is one that we always recommend because it comes back year after year.
That's
after
a best
year.
of the fest, yeah.
Yeah, we can already call that.
We'll be doing a best of the fest from Food and Wine Festival towards Thanksgiving. So that'll be after the festival's already ended. But we have a trip coming up, and we're putting together a best of the fest of things that were. But we want to make sure that we cover all of the booths this year, so we're going a little late this year for that.
And we're bringing backups.
Yeah, that's true. Catherine will join us again, if you remember her from an earlier episode. She will be with us to help us eat around the world.
She helped us for Flower and Garden. We're bringing her back. So the outdoor concert series for this one is Eats the Beat. They are most famous for having Boys to Men.
Every time we go. I don't
swear-
hate Boys to Men, but what is it with Boys to Men every time we book a trip?
I think they're stalking us.
It does feel that way. But other groups like Hanson are there if you're into Bop.
Also, 38 Special.
Oh, that's the one I wish I could see. I love those guys.
That would be amazing. Big Bad Voodoo Daddy. Mercy Me is going to be there this year. But they also bring in some local bands to perform.
Yeah, if you look at the actual list of the artists that are going to be there, you'll actually see a color code on them for local bands versus internationally known bands. It's really, really a neat way to see some of the local artists there in Orlando.
And for them to get to perform on that big stage is pretty cool. So.
I just wish, Disney, are you listening? Bring back Off Kilter.
Oh,
I don't know if
please.
they're still actually together. I know they're not together as a band touring. I'm wondering if they would come together for a show at Eats of the Beat. That would be amazing.
Oh my gosh. Dare to dream.
Dare to dream. Miss you, Jamie.
So that is pretty much the gist of Food and Wine. So to wrap it up, we are going to the very last festival of the year, which is Festival of the Holidays!
Jingle bells, and other holidays. Actually, there is quite a few different holidays that are actually represented at Festival of the Holidays.
There are, because not everyone does Christmas the way we do Christmas here in the States. So it's a chance to see how they do it all over the world. And every culture has something that they celebrate during this time of year.
Yeah, if you go through World Showcase, you'll find stages set up and meet and greets where you can meet the country's version of Santa Claus.
Name? Kris Kringle. Santa Claus. Père Noël. Babo Natale. Père Nicole. Papa Gijo.
Or maybe not even Santa Claus. There's a Barn Santa Claus. What's that one called?
He's called the Barn Santa. He's in Norway.
That one is so, oh my heavens. If
He's so fun.
YouTube Barn Santa Norway Epcot. It is one of the funniest things you'll ever see. And it's actually what they have as Santa in Norway. It has a whole other mythology built around it that's just fun.
It's really fun. And in Italy, it's I can never say it, but she's like a witch character.
But they don't burn her, which is nice.
Burn her. No, in China they do the lion dance from Lunar New Year.
Oh, I love that.
It's very, very cool. In France they have Père Noël. Morocco and France, there's like right between them, they set up a stage where the Hanukkah storyteller is. He is very, very cool. And if you go into the Odyssey, you can meet the real Santa.
Oh, yes, it is the one and only Santa Claus.
Obviously.
Even though
because
he's
they
in
bring
the
him in.
parade at Magic Kingdom. And
But not while he's at the meet and
Disneyland
greet.
and the
Don't get
mall
confused. He's
over
Santa,
here
he's magic, he can do it.
Okay,
Okay.
real Santa.
Real Santa. But you can do photos and all of that with him if he's in the Odyssey building. So, Festival of the Holidays started in 1996. It is featuring around 19 different food booths, or those outdoor kitchens we were talking about. The crawl for this one is a cookie crawl. So if you buy 5 different kinds of cookies, you earn a cookie.
A cookie! For buying more.
Weird. So
Weird, yeah. But they
Rod,
have
tell us about your
they have a
favorite
Linzer
cookie.
cookie that is powdered sugary and jammy and crunchy, and I will buy 10 of these. I don't even need the other cookie. I just want to buy those 10 cookies.
It is one of them that is featured on the cookie crawl. It is by far the best cookie on the cookie crawl, I think.
I agree with you, actually.
But there's different ones that you can collect as you go through. But again, if you want to just buy 5 Linzer cookies and get your prize, we will not judge you.
Not even a little bit, because that's probably what we're going to end up doing.
Also, some things, well, the scavenger hunt, we should hit that as well. Again, about $10 for Festival of the Holidays. It's Olaf's Holiday Tradition Expedition. So you go to the different countries, find the little statue of Olaf, put your little sticker on there. Last year, the prize was a Frozen-themed little coin purse. They were actually super cute. It took us a minute to figure out what they were when we saw the picture.
I thought they were ornaments at first. And they've got a little clip on them. You could actually just hang it on a tree if you wanted to, I guess.
But things not to miss, Voices of Liberty do some traditional carols. They're dressed as Dickensian characters. They're still in the American Pavilion where they always are, but they switched to do some Christmas songs, and they are always a treat. You can't miss them. But also Joyful performs.
Yeah. A little more modern take on the carols and the Christmas music, and they perform on a stage that's set up between the 2 stores at the entrance of World Showcase.
Yeah, and they do more like a gospel, jazzy, R&B kind of style. And they actually have some Kwanzaa songs, which I didn't even know was a thing. So that was really cool. I learned a lot.
Okay, we need to take just a little quick Disney Are You Listening break here. We have Christmas. We have Kwanzaa. We have the Lunar New Year. Where's Festivus? We even mentioned that in the opening.
We did.
Why is there no polls that can air my grievances and show feats of strength?
It's true. I think we actually even mentioned that in a previous episode. So, I mean, come on, Disney.
Yeah, come on.
Step it up.
Festivus is a thing. It really is. Okay, and now back to the podcast.
Back to your previously scheduled programming.
Exactly.
But the big thing for this time of year is the candlelight.
Yes.
And we've talked about it before. Rod, you want to give us a little rundown?
Yeah, Candlelight is one of the largest collection of cast members you're going to see on stage at Epcot at any time. It is at the American Gardens Theater, again, over at American Adventure. In the evening hours, they will do a full orchestra, a full local choir, and sing Christmas songs, more traditional songs, and then they will have a well-known artist of some sort come up and do the Christmas story. It is beyond moving. Bring your Kleenex.
True story.
But they have people like Neil Patrick Harris, who we saw a few years ago.
Yeah.
And
they brought in Anika Noni Rose one year. It's just absolutely amazing. It doesn't even matter who you see. You would think that it would, but whoever they brought is worthy of doing it. They don't choose these people lightly.
This is one that will fill up every time. You need to make sure that you are there well in advance to see one of the 2 or 3 that they do nightly. And it's a great use of the food package that you can get, the dinner package. They actually even have lunch packages for this one because it's so popular. That will guarantee you a seat for one of the shows, a specific one that you actually sign up for, along with the dinner. So you pay a convenience fee with the dinner to have a spot, and is well worth the money to do that.
Yeah, we don't necessarily recommend using that dining package for the other festivals. This one, you need it, for sure. And it's where you're going to eat dinner anyway. Like, It doesn't even matter. So just do the extra. It's not even much of an extra fee by the time you get your dinner in there. So pay the extra, do the dining package for the candlelight processional. It is worth every cent.
It is the most traditional Christmas feel you will get at a Disney park.
Yes.
Now, I love the Christmas party, which we're going to be actually reviewing as well later this year. I also love the Christmas parade and the fireworks. But if you are a traditionalist when it comes to Christmas, you must go to Epcot and see candlelight. At Epcot, it does run the length of the festival.
Speaking of festivals, one last thing. That's kind of the whole story as far as the festivals go. But we were talking the other day when we were researching for this episode, and we have a proposal. So Disney, are you listening? There are currently 4 festivals that run throughout the year, about maybe 4 or 5 weeks in there total that are done at Epcot. We propose breaking in to the 2 longer festivals and making it 5 festivals for the year. So you have your Festival of the Arts to open it up. You have Flower and Garden in the spring. When you switch to summer can have its own festival. And then Food and Wine is more of the harvest that it started with. So you actually have a harvest fall. You could even add in a Halloween event like they do at Magic Kingdom. And then end the year, of course, with Festival of the Holidays. But I just think that would be so cool to have one that's actually dedicated to fall and festival. I just think that would be so cool.
We go to Silver Dollar City in Dollywood occasionally, and the harvest festivals there in the September-October timeframe are stunning. They're pumpkin festivals. There's so much that could be done as a counterpart, like Sue said, to the Halloween event at Magic Kingdom, but as the anti-Halloween Horror Nights from Universal.
Well, and just really feature those fall flavors.
Yes. There's so much that could be done from an American farm standpoint, and bring in the land pavilion as part of it.
Ooh, that would be neat. Oh, that was another thing that we should just mention real quick, is that when you go to the land pavilion and you ride Living with the Land,
they put lights and giant ornaments and Christmas trees. That attraction is the only one I know of that actually has a Christmas overlay at Epcot.
It's very fun.
And yeah, we should have mentioned that during the festival when we were talking about it, because we talked about the overlays during Christmas and Halloween during our Magic Kingdom episode just a few weeks ago. This is the attraction to go to during Festival of the Holidays to see all of the Christmassy elements.
It's super cute. Brought
into one place. But the tunnel, as you leave the main show building and go into the greenhouses, has the lights all across it. And it really does. It's really, really cool.
And during each festival, they'll show you, in those greenhouses, they have the signs up to show you what you're looking at. But as the festivals change, they also show you where those products are used in the food booths. So if they are growing a certain kind of melon or a certain kind of spice specifically for that festival, you get to see it. It's really neat. So
it is. I love. We can't talk about that attraction enough. I know you've
true.
Probably listened to us in the past. We talk about Living with the Land a lot, but it's truly Epcotian.
Yes.
It is so fetch. Yes.
Quit trying to make fetch happen.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. It's so Epcotian.
It's so tinsel.
Before we go, we'd love to give a big shout out to our social media coordinator, Riley Piper, audio engineers Joey Humphrey and Paul Trett, and logo designer Evan Piper. Our theme music composer is Jason Patrick Rowan and is licensed through Pond 5. And of course, thank you, Phoenicians.
Thank you, Phoenicians. And don't forget to rate, review, like, and subscribe. It really, really does help people find us. You can find us on social media on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and wherever you listen to podcasts.
The Epcotian Adventure is a $1,000 brunch production. Thanks for joining us today for episode 34 of the Epcotian Adventure. I'm Rod.
And I'm Sue.
And we'll see you in line.
Bye. wrote between blank and blank.
Well, that's helpful.
Isn't that helpful? Between...
Yes, folks, we only have high-class stuff on this show.